Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to see Dr. Rizwana Mat Yusof and my fellow friends. Today, my group will be presenting Seminar 1 with the topic Supply Chain Management. Before we start, I will introduce my group mates, consists of Ailan Eli, Cikgu Nur Adira, Nurul Badira, me myself Nadira, and lastly, Najwa Izzati. First of all, what is supply chain? A supply chain is a network between a company and its supplier to produce and distribute a specific product to the final buyer. Next, we will discuss on what is supply chain management. Supply chain management is the process of managing the flow of goods and services. It encompasses all processes from the acquisition of raw materials to the transformation of these materials into intermediate and finished products, and the distribution of such products to customers. Why is it in the practice? It is because supply chain management involves in the active streamlining of a business supply side activities to maximize customer value and gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace. How supply chain management can benefit organization and consumer? By managing the supply chain, companies can cut excess costs and deliver products to the consumer faster. Secondly, good supply chain management keeps companies out of the headlines and away from expensive recall and lawsuits. After that, we will move to the purposes of supply chain management. The first goal is to achieve efficient fulfillment. On the most basic level, the purpose of supply chain management is to make inventory readily available in customer-facing position in fulfill demand. Organization must pursue the goal of matching supply with demand in a timely fashion through the most efficient use of cross-chain resources. Secondly is to drive customer value. Cost-efficient fulfillment and inexpensive products are important, but supply chain manager must focus on value creation for the customer. This goal begins with a market-driven customer service strategy that is based on clearly understood customer requirement. It means supply chain design, strategies, and capabilities should emanate from this requirement. The next goal is to enhance organizational responsiveness. Another important rationale or supply chain management capabilities is responsiveness to change. Supply chain management can help organizations adapt to the challenges of globalization, economic expectation, and related issues. Last but not least is to facilitate financial success. One of the most important roles of supply chain management is to contribute to the financial success of the organization. Traditional initiatives focus on cost efficiency, but in contrast, for a leading organization, use supply chain to enhance differentiation, increase sales, and penetrate new markets for leading organizations. Supply chain has kept evolving year by year and is still evolving, although there are many revolutions. Let's see in brief about the history of supply chain revolutions. Before 1950, the supply chain concept has still unknown, and there have been used assembly line by Henry Ford. After that, they used mass production, which referred as the flow production on the World War I and World War II. On the 1970 and 1980, MRP1 and MRP2 term is being introduced to increase economy of scale and the performance. During 1980 and 1990, it was observed that firms dealing with increased demands and outsourced logistics and made a focus on their core competencies. Many manufacturers realized an approach of building relationship with their supplier and customers. Manufacturers also utilize just-in-time and total quality management strategy to improve quality manufacturing efficiency and delivery times. In the 1990s, there was introduction of enterprise resource planning tools and business process concept resulted in the growing interest for cost reduction and increased process efficiencies. In 1992, Keith Oliver, British logician, introduced the term supply chain management to the public and boomed in mid-1990s. Supply chain concept got a lot of attention in late 90s through books, articles, and its awareness in manufacturing sector. Finally, on the current era, or referred as a globalization era, create a long-term partnership in trade liberalization policies and increase supply chain capabilities.
Thank you. Now I'm Nurul Badira will explain about benefits and limitation. The first one, complicated. SCM process involves several departments within the organizations. Many departments involved will lead to the confusion and hamper to the normal function business. Second, build partnership that can support future growth. The process of SCM brings better collaboration among the business party. SCM focuses on developing the proper channel or tools to easily communicate among businesses so that they can avoid any confusions or dispute relating to the product information. The last benefit, easily analyze the problem. SCM make it easy to identify problems that affect their reputation and profit. They can identify which department have low performance and are lacking in delivering their duties. If there is no SCM process, they will blame each other for any problem incurred. It's difficult to detect. Now we move to the limitation. The first one, complicated. SCM process involves several departments within the organizations. Many departments involved will lead to the confusion and hamper to the normal function business. Next, require trained and personal staff. Needs qualified and trained manager for effective executive in company. SCM manage a lot of process starting from managing raw material. It incurs huge expenses, so they need staff that has been trained and qualified to handle it. First one, lack of reliability. Reliability actually depends upon the mode of information exchange among several departments. Instead of inaccurate information sharing by any of department, it will have adverse effect on performance of the whole supply chain. Now, we look at the process or step that involve in the supply chain management. The first one, planning. Plan and manage resources and goods that are demanded by customer. In this stage, we need to focus on designing strategy that can maximize profit. We need to know which product and service will satisfy customer demand. Second one, sourcing. Choose a supplier to provide goods and service needed to create the product. Not only that, in this stage, we need to determine different method for shipping, delivering, payment for the product. They also need to improve their relationship with supplier. Next, manufacturing. Focusing on design, produce, test, and package. In this stage, they will schedule all activities that occur in manufacturing, testing, packaging, and preparing for delivery. They will look more about quality level, production output, and productivity. Second last, delivery and logistics. The product will be delivered to customer by supplier of the company. The product will be delivered and accepted by customer as planned. The ratio process pick up from warehouse, delivering to customer, invoicing system, and the involved recording and receiving payment. The last process, return. Any defect or damage during delivery is returned to the supplier. Involve how to process a complaint, how to respond by accepting the damage return, and facilitating the return process for customer who have issue with this product.
Okay, thank you, Nurul. Next, I will explain about the question of application of supply chain management in the industry. There are many companies that have practiced the supply chain management system in their business. Based on one of the articles that I have found, Nestle is one of the companies that has practiced and follow 4 primary activities of supply chain management system, which are planning, sorting, making, and delivering. Nestle is the world's largest food manufacturing corporation with a global presence and goods that can be found practically on every family's dining table. The first process is planning. For instance, Nestle's success is due to their planning to use sound business strategies that include product innovation and renovation, as well as customer value creation priorities and practical business core values such as cultural diversity, quality products, brand strength, consumer or customer satisfaction, and the company's high performance target. The present Nestle management structure has aimed at standardize the operations of all Nestle's business units around the world. This requires to ensuring that the procurement, sales and distribution, manufacturing operation, and administrative tasks are all managed by a single system. Next, sorting. For example, Nestle management has attempted to embrace the notion of supply chain management by outsourcing some of its tasks and employing a huge staff, over 270,000 of executive, manager, and line or production workers to ensure that the supply chain's operations function smoothly. Suppliers can be more successful with the well-established procurement outsourcing. Inventory and output management can be more effective with a good communication that allows for input on the delivery dates and quality. Third, manufacturing. For instance, by producing products of all types and size and guaranteeing the sanity when promoting the products, Nestle ensures that the tastes of all the customers are catered to. Customer satisfaction has always been the key to the supply chain management's performance as well as a conduit for the company's competitive edge and profitability. Nestle's sensitivity to the target market's cultural needs with diverse flavors and formulation created to fit the taste of the local market. Lastly, delivering process. For example, Nestle was able to delegate its distribution functions. Nestle Chilisa has hired Rider System Inc. to handle distribution and transportation management, while Nestle USA hired Red Prairie to handle the transportation management. It's aimed at ensuring the Nestle's products are distributed as quickly as possible. As Nestle is in the food industry where products are prone to spoilage if not delivered to the customer on time and where the quality is vital. This process is vital because it can effectively monitor the information across supply chain and assure adherence to laws and regulations. Supply chain management enables Nestle to create value by assuring the free flow of goods, services, and information from the maker to the consumer, with little risk of damage or spoiling, particularly for perishable or fragile commodities. As a result, Nestle believes it is critical to embrace a unified supply chain to ensure the product quality is maintained at all times.
We also look for other businesses that use the SAM approach to management. Tesco is another company that we choose. Tesco PLC was created in the United Kingdom in 1919 with the intention of trading in the grocery and general merchandise retail sector. With its inventive and expensive technique, it has expanded into international markets and now has 4,811 sites worldwide. Tesco UK is one of the firms in the world that employs the best supply chain management strategies and radio frequency identification technology RFID. According to Christopher, the drivers are pushing Tesco's supply chain management. First, there are new communications technology accessible now that allow its managers to actively oversee a supply chain. Second, buyers want to reduce pricing as well as better products and service. Tesco must optimize its entire supply chain in order to meet its customer demand. Supply chain management enables all Tesco in a supply chain to go beyond their own aims to maximize end customer satisfaction. So the supply chain began with the purchase of raw material from supplier. Because Tesco serves as an outlet for most consumer commodities, their raw materials are usually finished goods, hence their suppliers are the manufacturers who produce the goods. Purchases and stock level are now always maintained, with some adjustment made in the event of a precise increase in demand. This has enabled stores to use automatic warehouse control system, which in a centralized distribution mechanism help organizations maintain favorable stocks level as well as analyze different stock demands. This approach aids in the determination of the level of quality which perceived and aids the organization's goal of providing high quality commodities. The ordering system is likewise consolidated, allowing the organizations to reap the benefits of large-scale generations. With this stock management system, they are most efficient retail shop organizations and the most preferred of their all-in-one store branches. The second event is the distribution of goods to the organization branches around the world. A centralized distribution system is provided, which means they are used one truck to distribute the same commodity in all the intended branches in the UK, increasing efficiency, lowering distribution costs, and increasing distribution speeds. Transportation is measured in the term of distance, weight, product kind, and supply urgency. This process is not only cost-centric but also resource-centric in the sense that the availability of resource influence the supply chain. And finally, the use of commodities by end user in their respective branches. At this stage, Tesco uses electronic data exchange in radio frequency identification RFID technology to sell their products in a fast and efficient way to deliver service to users. This is one of the improvement processes that organizations have used in recent time to ensure community value is created for consumer to increase and create loyalty. The stores are usually serviced with a simple and flexible layout for the inflow and outflow of consumer. Commodities are arranged in terms of consumerization, for example, electronic, grocery, and etc., at a specific location in the store.
Nowadays, supply chains are being pressured by the rising globalization and consumers' expectation. Therefore, an organization need to continuously improve their supply chain management. So, in this section, we will discuss about our recommendation on improvement for supply chain management. The first one is by optimizing the company-owned inventory. Inventory warehousing and keeping costs are relatively expensive. For example, inventory holding costs. It can be over 60% of the cost of item held in inventory for a year. Therefore, one of the ways to optimize the company-owned inventory is to check the number of company-owned inventories. From this, we need to keep only what we need and nothing more than that. Other examples is to use a proper skills for optimal inventory management. Next, supply chain can be improved by the use of technology. An organization needs to assess any existing practices that are generating unsatisfactory outcomes and determine which of the processes may benefit from the use of technology. From the reviews of the pros and cons of the technology, the organization may come up with a system or a software to improve its supply chain management. There are two examples of technology that can be used, which are industrial skills and enterprise resource planning software. Lastly, an organization needs to build a healthy supplier relationship. They should not ignore the relationship with the suppliers even after the transaction is finished. The organization needs to always reinforce and maintain their relationship with the suppliers. They also need to concentrate on developing strategies for maintaining positive supplier relationships, make goals for sustaining value, evaluating performance, and resolving conflicts. This is because a good relationship with the suppliers can reduce the supplier and inventory related costs. Furthermore, product quality may be enhanced and the production lead time could be improved. Many businesses have spent most of their time in developing and strengthening their relationship with the suppliers. In conclusion, every firm needs supply chain management because it enhances effectiveness, efficiency, resource management, and develop positive and visible relationship with stakeholders. It also integrates all business processes, paying attention to each and every step that leads to customer satisfaction and the company's objectives. However, the supply chain always required improvement in its management to be in line with the development of current trends and technologies. That's all from our group. Thank you.